going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Squad Creative Podcast. I'm your host, Seak, Parris. You can follow me at 12 Going Apparel on all your social medias. Man, you know we brought out another special guest for you. But before we get to him, I'm going to let my co-host introduce himself.
Mike T's, the second half of Squad Creative Podcast. You can follow me, Mike T's, on all social medias. And today we are rocking with Econ from Yvad.
Yvad, yeah.
How are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm good, man. I can't complain. And again, just like I appreciate y'all for having me out here, like having me on this, because it's good to kind of like feel recognized in the space, because it's a bit crowded, and the fact that I don't have like a bunch of followers and like, doing crazy stuff. I'm just trying to help people in the space right now, like just getting in, like my content is really for the people who are just trying to figure it out and, like build a legit brand, not just like, a brand that's going to be around for a year and then just like disappear,
So it's not about numbers, man. It's about quality over quantity, man, period. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Like I've been watching you for a minute, and everything you drop is gems, man. I learned something from every video,
Appreciate that.
For the first time in my life, I actually want to start a clothing brand instead of dropping t-shirts. So
yeah,
a lot from you, taking in a lot. So man, just I'm gonna jump into it. So tell us your history, man.
All right.
Or what you do for sure.
So quick backstory. So before me here, originally I was born in Jamaica and born and raised. I moved to America when I was 19, and I got an opportunity to come here from my aunt, so I had no plans really to come to America. It's just like, she just like one day asked me, yo, you planning on going to college or whatever? And in Jamaica, you don't just get up and go to college because it's expensive, So my thing was just like to work. At the time I was a bartender, and I got the opportunity to come over here. I studied, I did college, graduated. And ever since I graduated, like, it's crazy because I always thought I wanted the office and, getting that prestigious type job, because coming into the country, like, that's the thing that's kind of praised, like getting that office job and, getting that nice corporate gig and stuff. So after I graduated college, I got a really good job working for this marketing company in the engineering department, because my goal was to eventually become an architect. So that played out like in a weird way, because within a year of me working at that job, I'm like, yo, I'm kind of tired of the office life, like just coming into the office. And one day, just like driving to work, it kind of just hit me like, I don't want to just do this for the next 30-40 years.
Man.
So that's where it kind of started. And fast forward from there, I just got curious, started Googling how to make money online. I found Teespring. I tried that out, stopped, and then moved on from Teespring to like then learning about drop shipping. And then I actually set up a few drop shipping stores, and I was able to make sales, but nothing crazy where I was like life changing. I'm about to like just uproot everything and just like focus on that. But the thing that I learned from drop shipping is I was able to make money online, and a complete stranger was going to buy something that I either showed them. And that's how I like realized, all right, hold up, I can actually do this, and for me, I always wanted to be hands-on in the process, because I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my heart in it and try to do it the best I can. So with drop shipping, it was hard for me to do that. And plus, most of the products, it wasn't really mine. I'm just finding stuff that people would like and then trying to resell it, So that's how I eventually kind of like moved over to the clothing brand space, because it was something I always wanted to do. And the pandemic kind of forced my wife and I to just like stop making excuses and, kind of get it together, So that's where like we really got into the space and like started to, I don't know, like learn and try to figure out what the next move is going to be for us,
For sure. So let me ask, man. You said you wanted to be an architect.
Yeah.
Are some similarities? How has that helped you with the clothing brand and designing?
You know what? It's crazy because a lot of the things that I learned in college, so naturally I'm a creative person, just right off the top. Like I draw, I paint, I do all that. So it just comes to me. So the creative side was just like it's already there. And then in college, I learned how to basically combine my creativity with the technical side of things. So all the softwares and stuff that you'll use to lay out floor plans and do stuff for buildings, it kind of just like translated it over to the clothing brand space. So all the softwares I use now for the clothing brand it's different softwares, but I'm applying the same things that I learned while I was in college. So it's just my whole thought process. It's just literally it's just the way I think now. So if you present any issue to me, like I just approach it from that technical side where I fix it that way. And then the creative side is just going to tap in. So it was just the perfect blend. I always tell people that I didn't go and be the traditional architect, but I'm still an architect because I'm still creating something from scratch and then introducing it to the world. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just fulfilling it in a different way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I gotta ask about this ecom. I know I'm moving a little bit forward with it. So how do you go from coming over to the US to going exactly into ecom? Like, what was the
let me
catapult
say this before it's gonna play into your question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah, man, I'm out here feeling like, I'm moving up in the ranks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I just had to, because you said 19, so I'm sorry for cutting off your question.
Yeah, no problem. So the way I got into the e-commerce space is it's literally like trial and error. So again, naturally, I'm just the type of person where I'm just a kind of like the hustler mentality. So from Jamaica, from the days I was in Jamaica, like I found ways to make money that I'm like, I just like, I thought about it. So when I was in school, like I said, I used to draw very well, draw, paint, and stuff like that. So when I was in art class, I had a lot of people in the class that who couldn't draw. So what I would do, I would charge them to do their homeworks and art projects. And the way that I did it is the teacher already know that that person wasn't a good like artist or they couldn't draw or do certain things well. So I would just do the work to match their ability. So I didn't even have to put a lot of effort. So if you are a good student or not with art, I'll just give you something like subpar, but the teacher is going to believe that you did it because that's your level of skill, So I started there and I was making money that way. And the money I was making, I was saving my money a lot. And then I started changing money for people. So somebody would come to me and say, yo, break up this, $100 bill, like in Jamaican dollars. And I would break it up, or a 500 Jamaican dollar. And I would take a little piece of that and say, hey, it's a little tax for, changing the money for you. So those were little things that I started. And it's now that I'm like, hold on, I've been like a little entrepreneur since like a minute, and didn't even realize it. So it started there. And when I came here, the reason why I kind of like had to figure out how to make some money was, as an international student, when I started, they limited me. They didn't make me work. So I'm here in this country, they're charging me 2 times the tuition as a typical student, but they only want me to work 20 hours a week. So I'm like, yo, I'm trying to figure out how I can make some money. So I was trying to like power wash people's driveways. So I would, like, my aunt had a power wash. I would go and ask the neighbors like, hey, your driveway kind of looking messy. It'll make your house look better. I'll power wash it. When it snows, I'm clearing driveways. I did landscaping. I was a dishwasher for like 3 years. That's what paid like my whole college tuition. I graduated debt free through dishwashing.
Wow.
Man, it's I don't mean to cut you off, but it's amazing to hear of all the side hustles to support your main hustle that you had went through.
Man,
even mentioning the fact that you didn't even know that you were an entrepreneur, man. Just hearing your story, this is enough to empower somebody to get started.
Man, it's and now looking back at it, because I now like you only realize how much you've done when you actually look back and you talk about it. I don't really
Yeah.
talk about it. So like looking back, I'm like, man, I came a long way. And sometimes I beat myself up because I'm like, yo, I don't feel like you're doing enough.
Mhm.
But like looking back at it, it's like, you know what? You came a long way since you started, so now like tapping in, like to finish off your question, like so I was going through all those stuff, and it's just to find a way how to make money. So I just started Googling how to make money online. I came across options trading. I wanted to try that. I came across all these different things, and the Teespring thing just seemed the best to me at the time, because I'm like, okay, I can, you know, get my creativity. I had like Bob Marley shirts that I would do and wear to college and stuff like that. And since I got into the gym, I started doing like funny gym shirts, and people would like it. People I would talk to, and then that's how I like started selling it. And I'm like, you know what? I guess you can make money doing this online, and it just progressed to now with all the knowledge I have with the clothing brand space.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever printed for yourself, or have you always used manufacturers?
So I haven't. I've been. I did a little bit of like not a heat press, like literally just a hand press. I've done that before. I've done transfers, but once we started the clothing brand, I went directly with a manufacturer. So this is the crazy thing is the first batch of shirt that we made. I had no clue what I was doing, so I literally just like contacted the manufacturer, and fortunately enough, we didn't get scammed or anything. Is the shirt that we got though, it was so tight, man. Like the fit was so small. But we ordered 100 shirts, thinking, because we made a list of everybody that we knew. We made a list of probably like 50 people. So we're like, all right, if we can sell half of these shirts, we already made back the money we put in, and it didn't go the way we planned it, and I talk about it in one of my videos, like why I'm against like using debt to start your business, because I took out a brand new laptop, the actual laptop I'm using now, a few years back, a credit card, did that. I'm like, all right, we going to just like, start selling and paid off right away. It didn't happen. And I'm like, man. And then when we got the shirts, the first 100 shirts, half of it was on a credit card. And again, we're like, we're gonna sell out the 100, pay off the card, and we just gonna move forward. Didn't happen. We're left with the debt again.
Right.
So it's like after learning that, I'm like, you know what? It does not work. Whatever you have planned, thinking it's just gonna go as smooth as possible, life has something else for you. You get what I'm saying? So that was one of the things. Like now to this day, we have not taken out a penny of debt on our business. And as a matter of fact, the reason why my wife and I started this clothing brand is after we got laid off in the pandemic. We were here home, and we're like just no jobs, the unemployment and all that. We weren't getting our money for a minute. So we're here, and I'm like, yo, we thought we had it all figured out and we had everything together. And one thing goes wrong, and it just knocks you flat, and I'm like, we can't live like this anymore, and the crazy thing is you recognize it, but you don't act on it, because when we were in that process, we took a trip to Florida. You get what I'm saying? Like the dumbest thing we could do. We went to Florida, we argued, we came back, and my wife said to me, is like, yo, we should have just used this money to like pay off some debt or something.
Yeah.
And that's how we kind of started the brand, like literally around that time, because we got into like our basically like the whole financial knowledge and stuff, and we started watching Dave Ramsey on YouTube and like go crazy on his plan, and paid off $45,000 in like a year and 3 months. And that's how everything really changed for us. And in the process, we were throwing stuff like with the brand, trying to figure it out, but we weren't taking it serious. And when we went through the whole process of paying off the debt, that's when the brand got its meaning. That's when the brand like found life outside of us, because we're like, you know what? If we can come, because my wife is not American born either. My wife is Peruvian. So she's from a third world country also. And we both kind of have the same upbringing. So we're like, if we can come from a different country, came here, still made our mistakes, and learn, and change your life, like going forward, that means anybody else can do it.
Yeah, man.
And that's where we kind of started with our clothing brand, just to inspire people to just get up, change your lives, become the best version of themselves by being intentional. And that's something we push heavy because, like, in the process, we always thought that we have to be perfect. You see it on social media every day. You wake up at 5 o'clock, you go to the gym, you do this, you do that, and it just seems like, yo, am I the problem then? Like, why can't I like have everything in line like that? And
Right.
then I realized, like, that's not really real. People aren't really showing the downside. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of striving to be perfect, I'm just going to be intentional. So I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to try to do one thing towards whatever the goal is. If I'm trying to grow this brand, if I'm trying to, get into shape, whatever the thing is I'm trying to do, I'm just going to do one thing towards that and see how it plays out. And that's how I've been living ever since.
Yeah,
That's
man.
amazing. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Where are you located at? I'm sorry. See,
Jersey. We're in Jersey
Jersey,
right now. Yeah.
New
Yeah.
Jersey. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Where you guys at?
I'm in Oregon.
Oregon.
And
Okay.
I'm Ohio.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. But it's been a journey. Like now in the clothing brand space, like man, a lot of learning, in the space now because it's so saturated in a sense, but at the same time I'm not even worried about that because like all the brands now kind of look the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just all look the same. No creativity, no meaning, no nothing. It's just literally, yo, fire, like it's all the same. Like, oh, yo, that piece look fire, but it's the same butterfly like the other dude, or the same star like the other dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all the same. So I'm not even worried about that. We got our own mission, and we kind of know where we're trying to take the brand.
What are some tips you have to make your clothing brand stick out?
Start with why. I always tell anybody to start with why. So first figure out your why, like why you as the person want to start the brand, and then what's the why behind your brand also. So
Mm.
figure out your why as the person and then the why for the brand. So that way when the times get tough, and it will, you'll like stick to it. You'll be able to like say to yourself, I'm doing it for this reason. And that way you won't just like throw it down and move on to the next thing. So always start with why for sure.
Yeah, man.
How much do you think we should start out with being brand new to the business or trying to get into the space that you're into?
Man, so I would say like now looking back at my own mistakes, like if you're starting with no followers, you have no audience, like nobody who's like rocking with you like that, outside of family, I would just say try to start with 10, 20 shirts as like the bare minimum as you possibly can. I would say 20 is a good number. Like the typical screen printer does like 24. So I
Mhm.
always suggest screen printing because it's just the quality is just so good. But make sure you find a good screen printer because we've had bad screen printers too.
Yeah.
So I would say around 24, whatever minimum you can get from a screen printer. I would say start there and start with friends and family first and try to document the journey immediately. Like that's something that we learned. We didn't really document a lot of the beginning process,
Mm-hmm.
of course, with the brand. And I think that affected us a lot because people could have like, especially in the pandemic when everybody was home, if we were documenting, us building the brand and trying to pay off debt and really show the like behind the scenes of it, I think the brand would have really hit and like probably taken off like way differently.
Right.
But at the same time, the fact that it didn't force us to learn so much more. So
Right,
I'm
Mm.
actually happy the way it played out.
right. Man, I think we've skipped something very important already. Your brand. We have not asked you the name of your brand.
Well, I was gonna
Yeah,
get to it. You gonna say we skipped it?
yeah. So the name of the brand is called Birani. So this is on the shirt, Byrani,
Mhm.
and it's actually a word that was derived from Indonesia. So we were searching like literal like for a minute, just names, like searching for names for the brand because we had the idea what we want the brand to represent, but we wanted a name that's different and kind of a bit unique. So when somebody sees it, it's like, what does that mean? Or like something to start a conversation. And
What
We
does it?
came up- Oh, it means to be brave, bold, and fearless.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's the way now we always say to people, approach your life in that sense. And we have a little phrase that we kind of put along with it to be brave enough to suck at something new, be bold enough to be yourself, and be fearless enough to follow your dreams. And that's like one of the that's what's on the hoodie right now. And it's something that we always tell people, approach your life in that way. On top of being intentional, keep this message with you and just combine the two, because intentionality is going to get you to that point where you're like, you know what, I'm going to take the risk on myself. Or if you're in an environment and you feel like you have to lose your character just to fit in, don't do it. That's not your space. You get what I'm saying? And it's okay if you fail at something. That's just a lesson. It's not really a failure. It's all these different things, so that's just kind of what we're trying to push with the brand and just show people, because again, like I said, like if we can change our lives and we're just normal people, if we can literally change your lives, and the next how many years we got, like if that time frame we can go ahead and change the outlook for our whole family and then for other people,
Yeah,
man, it's a win. It's a win in my part.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's the brand now. Like we're really excited, especially for the new year coming in, because we've learned so much this year. And this year has pushed us to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. And like that's how I ended up starting the second page, the ecom with Yvad, because at first I'm like, nobody want to listen to what I'm saying. My brand isn't doing 100,000 yet, or I'm not at 1 million yet. So nobody's going to stop and listen to me. You know what I'm saying? So if you look on my page, I never talk anything about money or say, hey, this is how you're going to make this much.
Right.
Because one of the things that I really believe in, like, if I haven't been through it, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to lie to anybody for any reason to make a quick dollar. I'd rather keep my character and stay broke until I figure it out. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
that's
man.
just the way I kind of look at it. I'm just not going to compromise for no reason.
So what's the other page?
So the other page that I have is the actual brand page. So it's called Barani Apparel. And that's where I just like, my wife and I, we just like post content there specifically for the brand. And that again is like, we're around 4,500 followers. And that page kind of took traction in January is when we really started it. And within months, like it started getting traction, and we got into a rut, and it was like, man, the brand, like we think, oh, it's gonna blow up, because now you come on TikTok. We weren't really on TikTok, we were kind of on Instagram. So Instagram scene at the time was a bit different, so coming on TikTok, you see every single, like every other brand is like a bunch of followers. Oh man, I did 100K in a month. I'm like, wait a minute, like what is going on? Everybody, like, yo, what's up with me? You know what I'm saying? So for a second, like it kind of just put us in a down spot. And I'm like, you know what? We kind of fell into a bit of inconsistency with our posting, but we try to post, like not 1 week has ever gone by since we had the page where we never posted. It might be a day or 2 or 3. I think the most was like 4 or 5 days we didn't post, but we always go back and say, you know what, regardless of how we're feeling, we're going to always post something. And right now we're kind of like excited for the new year, because we're kind of studying more, because one of the things I'll always say to people too is learn your audience. Learn who you're going to sell to, because if you're going to have a brand that means something, the people who are going to watch it, they consume other things. So you need to be like creating content similar to what they're consuming, but make it around your brand, and that's one of the things we learn now. So going into the new year, we're going to definitely buckle down on the content, and we're probably going to be dropping 3-4 videos a day and really start seeing some traction on that page also.
Being that you are documenting your journey now, and you're actually trying to figure out the best way to ask this. Let me go back. For ecom, what is some of the steps that you take to? Are you doing running ads on Instagram, or are we just um, doing little videos to put to the social media? How are actually marketing? How are you marketing?
So right now we like literally it was I think October, ending of October, we invested around, if I'm correct, $5,000. We put
Wow.
up for a marketing team to come on and basically help us with like setting up ads, running the ads. And this is gonna be over the next year. We're gonna have them every week, like 2 or so calls or 3 calls a week. We hop on, set up ads, and they're gonna guide us through it. So we've been running ads for about a month. And the tough part about running ads, in my opinion, when you're a new brand, like you don't really even know, like, and this is one of the things that again I go back when it says know your audience, because now we ran ads for like about a month and a half, and we blow through like $1,000, boom, just like that. You get what I'm saying? And you got people on the website, but nobody was converting. So people were adding to cart, but nobody bought. So
Right.
now we had to stop the ads and then go back and say, okay, I know the issue isn't the product, because we tested the product in the marketplace. We did pop-ups, we did all these different things. So we sold hoodies, we sold shirts. So we know people would buy it. So that wasn't the issue. So we had to then go back and say, maybe it was the website, or website wasn't probably designed right, or maybe it was the pricing. We had to adjust the pricing in certain things. So these are some of the things, especially now when you're going in. I would say to anybody, don't go into like paid ads immediately. Figure out like the organic way. So posting your content, that's a great way. Like for us, one of the best, like we got somebody, like a complete stranger, purchased almost $500 worth of product.
Yeah, man.
Somebody we never knew, like in 2 purchases. And the crazy thing about it, this lady sent us the money and we placed the order and sent it to her. So that was major for us, because like if we were able to post consistently and somebody would see it and say, you know what, I love this brand. I forgot she bought like 10 shirts and something, and like maybe 2 or 3 hoodies at the time. And then we dropped some more stuff and she went back and she bought like 8 more hoodies and stuff. I was like, man, if I can get 20 or 30 of you, I'm like, I'm Gucci,
Yeah, man.
That's like the power of just posting your content, and always, like, one of the things I've learned, constantly tell the message of your brand. Like, that should be the first thing, because at one point we got caught up in the, hey, look at my hoodie, it's for $45 or it's for $50, buy it, but then you're just like everybody else. So when you tell somebody like, this hoodie means this, or when you put on this hoodie is going to remind you and you're going to feel this way, that's the approach you're going to take, because now you're kind of putting emotion into it, and then people are going to resonate with that a little bit more, so that's something that we learned when it comes to content. So I would say start with organic content, and then you can probably dabble into influencers too, but again, know your audience, so you're going to reach out to the right influencer, because you don't want to like have a clothing brand around motivation or like uplifting people, but you're gonna send it to somebody out here like, just trash talking and gossiping every day. You get what I'm saying? Tearing down people, like it wouldn't really match up with your brand, so know the audience. And once you do that, influencer, then you can probably dabble into paid ads or something like that, but right now for us, we went straight into the paid ads. We paused that right now because we have to regroup. We redesigned our website, and we're gonna probably start it back up in January to test and do all that again. But ads are gonna take some money, and for us, like, that's one of the things I also push the people. Try to make sure that you're in a good space financially, so whatever money you're throwing at the brand, you're not throwing the rent away. You get what I'm saying? Or you're not next month's bill, because it's not gonna be a process. Like, sometimes you can make a good amount of money when you're running ads the first month, or maybe you won't. So you don't want to just like gamble with it and then like get evicted or something like that.
Right.
So that's another thing I always push. Like, make sure you're in a good financial spot. If anything, try to get that cleared up and then start the brand, because we learned that the hard way too. That's how we were starting to throw things on credit cards, because we weren't really there financially, so that's why we kind of took a back seat, paid off everything, get ourselves right, and then we started, taking up back the brand and stuff like that.
What are the first steps to documenting building your brand?
Okay. All right. So if I was supposed to start, say, tomorrow, right? Scratch, brand new, have the brand idea, I would first thing create my social media pages. So my TikTok, Instagram, definitely those two for sure. Create your TikTok account, create your Instagram account. And actually, before you create those accounts, you want to go ahead and double check to make sure that your brand name is available. So you can go on I think the US, what was it? The US PTO. Yeah, their website, just to do a quick search, make sure nobody's using that. Once you're clear on that, I would say the next step would be to go ahead and secure your domain, because you want to make sure everything is in line, because you don't want a domain that's hard for somebody to remember.
Right.
So once you secure the domain, then you secure the Instagram, you secure the TikTok, and now everything correlates. So if you say to somebody, my brand name is this, your Instagram and TikTok should be like exactly that or as close to it as possible.
Right.
So that way it's easy for people to find you. Once you get that done, start posting content. And you gonna just make the trashiest content in the beginning, but you gonna just learn as you go. Try not to overthink it so much. Just start posting content. If you're on Google trying to figure out where to get t-shirts, take your phone. Man, I'm on Google right now. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna buy these blanks to start my clothing brand. That's content right there.
Right.
So literally document everything, because a person will feel so much more connected to your brand. If you can get 1,000 or 2,000 followers by the time you have the first 20 or 30 shirts ready, they're going to be sold. Somebody is going to buy it, because now they feel some form of a connection. And even better, when you're posting content, you're asking them, what do y'all think? This color shirt or this color shirt? So they're feeling like, they're building this with you. So now when you get to the point that you have the shirts ready, guess what? They're thinking, I made that shirt, I need to have it.
Right.
So that's what you want. And that's what I didn't know in the beginning. We didn't show any of that really. We just created the stuff and just appeared out of nowhere. So that's what I would say, like, because if you pay attention, a lot of the bigger influencers, they build their personal brand first. So people already know them. So when they introduce their clothing brand or whatever the thing they have, people are going to buy it because they know the person they're buying from. So you're trying to just build that relationship right off the bat. So once you get that set up, so I would say secure the names and just start posting content and documenting the journey. And now you need to figure out the model of the clothing brand, like the style you want to have. So I broke it down. I think I have like 5 different like models. You can go ahead. You have print on demand. So that's like the Teespring, Printify, where you just build up a website, somebody go, they purchase it, and then the product will be made and sent out to them. You can do the print on demand. You can go ahead and try drop shipping. So if you don't want to make clothes from scratch or design your own stuff, just find, clothes, put it on a website and sell it to people that way. You have, I call it like the DIY. So if you want to do like your heat press and make, turn that into like that way to do your brand, you can do that. You can do screen printing. That's number 4. So you find a local screen printer and, try to get it up that way, buy some blank shirts online. Or number 5 is just go straight overseas and try to get manufacturer. I always say to people, if you have the funds to go ahead and go for the manufacturer, sure, you can do it. But if you don't, my next best bet would be screen printing, because of the quality that you're going to get. If you really get a good screen printer, because if you're a new brand, you're trying to present good quality. So people who buy are going to want to come back eventually, and even if they don't come back, somebody might see them in it and they're going to be like, oh, where did you get that shirt or that hoodie? Oh, let me see it. Oh, okay. It's not bad. It's a little brand. Oh, it's good quality. And they might buy it too. So the quality is always going to speak for itself, and that's one of the things I always say, just try to produce good stuff. And
Sure.
yeah, once you figure out the model, then from that point is just to learn as much as you can and then start making your moves.
So, do you actually produce anything in house? Are you making any customs in house?
So right now we don't. So before, like this hoodie that I'm wearing right now, like this is one of the first hoodies that we dropped. Actually, the second round of hoodies that we dropped. And I learned how to sew. So I was stitching my neck label. So I would rip out the original label that came in with the hoodie, and I was stitching in my own labels and stuff like that. So that was the extent of some of the work. So we'll buy them online, buy the blanks, take it to the screen printer. They print it. We bring it home. My wife and I, we counted, we sort, make sure nothing has stain on it, lint roll and all that, stitch them in, stitching the neck label and all that, then bag it up. And we keep like everything behind me right here, well organized and everything. So we have that. But right now, everything going forward is done straight overseas, and everything is cut and sew. So I've
Wow.
gotten I got a decent amount of knowledge now, because remember in the beginning when I said the stuff that I learned in school came in handy. This, what I meant was like, there's this thing, like it's called a tech pack, right? And the tech pack is what, all the big fashion brands, everybody, like once you're creating something from scratch, same thing, like the tech pack is like a floor plan for a house. So that's the way I look at it. When you're building a house, you can't just go to the site and say, all right, I'm gonna need the room over there, the bathroom over there. Just all right, let's start laying some bricks. You can't do that.
Right.
So it's the same way with clothes. You got to get your tech pack right, send it to the manufacturer, and now you're giving them detailed instructions to say, all right, this is how I want this thing to be made. You get a sample, you send it back. In a great way, I always say, I found this out, like I would say probably 6 to 8 months ago. You just buy a blank t-shirt. So say for instance you want an oversized fit hoodie or whatever the fit is. You just go online, find a t-shirt that you like, a blank shirt. It could be Gildan. It doesn't even matter the brand. Just find a t-shirt, buy it, come home, and I learned how to measure fabric. So I bought a blank online that I want my shirt to fit like, and then laid it on a flat surface, measured it, put all that information in the tech pack, and then sent it to the manufacturer. So I made whatever changes I want to make. So now my shirt, when I get it back, it's gonna fit how I want it to fit.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways, like now I'll go about doing stuff. So nothing that I'm doing is gonna be done by chance. If any mistake is gonna be made, it has to be something like either I overlooked or the manufacturer overlooked that I stated. And I found a really good manufacturer that I'm working with, that they were the first ones that made our shirts, the little small shirts that we got in the beginning. And this is one of the things I tell people now: you don't have bad manufacturers. Once you're on Alibaba and the manufacturer is verified, most of those people are just trying to do business. Nobody's out here trying to make bad products for no reason. So it's just bad communication. You just go on there and say, hey, I want a hoodie or I want a shirt, and they just do the best they can. It might not be to your standards, but you gave them no information, and I'm proof of that. The first time I did it, I want a shirt, what's a good fabric, and they did the best they could. I got some small shirts, but fortunately enough, it wasn't too bad where it couldn't sell. But now, same manufacturer, now I sent them a tech pack, very detailed, and they gave me quality.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
So I saw a video you did a few days ago about the taking a blank and measuring the blanks and putting tech pack. Can you kind of give a brief overview on how people, what measurements should be in that tech pack?
Yeah. So when you're putting together a tech pack, there's gonna be, like, right now I'm making a tech pack template, because my approach is like, in this space, instead of just coming and be the next person to be like, yo, I'm gonna sell you a course how to start a clothing brand. You have too many people out here doing that. I'm like, I have a certain skill set where most people don't have. So I'm gonna make the best tech pack kit that the typical person who don't know much about this should be able to open up if they have the right software and literally drag and drop things in there. And I'm trying to have everything as easy as possible, where you just like pull an arrow close to the shirt and you just type everything. I even put like the blank text on the screen, so you just have to click the text and type your stuff in it. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for anybody to do it. But so when you break down the tech pack, it's gonna have anywhere from 5 to 10 pages, depending on how much stuff you want in there, right? So the first thing would be like a cover sheet. So the cover sheet is just like just showcasing whatever the product is you're trying to make. Front, back, you can have your designs on it if you want. The next sheet I would have like, it's like a call out. So basically you're stating that, okay, I want my neck label here. I want the care instructions here. Excuse me. Any detail you have on the shirt, you're going to call that out. And then the next page will just highlight all those call outs. So you're going to show them how you want your neck label to look. If you want custom care labels and certain things, you're going to tell them everything. So once you do that, then the next thing would be like showcasing the actual shirt, and you're going to show them the measurement. So this is where, like the video I did where you measure the shirt, those measurements that you took, you would come now and put that information in the tech pack. You put it on there, and then the next thing would be like just showcasing like the materials that are going to be used. What kind of cotton? Is it 100% cotton? Is it French terry cotton? Is it Pima cotton? So you got to like start learning some of these materials now, like figure it out. Is it like 80% cotton, 20% polyester, whatever it is? So you're going to basically give all that information in the tech pack. And that's really what it does. You have different pages that just kind of highlights all these things. And I show people how to just like lay everything out, export that, put it into like a PDF document, and then send it to the manufacturer. Once the manufacturer receive it, you give them a few minutes or a day or two to look over everything. And if they have questions, they ask you, and you just like fill in the blanks, whatever they're unsure about, you fill it in, and then you should be able to get a nice sample that way. Yeah.
Thanks for dropping that.
Yeah, so that's something like for sure that I'm trying to get. And like, you guys told me with the links, I need to get that fixed, because I'm trying to get, as much people in before I release it. So I'm thinking about dropping it at a discount for maybe a few days or for a week, and then put it back at a normal price. But I definitely need to get that together. But yeah, so like a tech pack now, like based on what I know, especially if you're gonna go overseas, it's a must-have, because you can't just do everything through text message and expect that it's gonna come out the way you want.
So how is it having a clothing brand and running this business with the wife?
Oh man, so initially when we started, it was kind of like butting heads, because we didn't really go in with the knowledge of saying, hey, this is your strong suit, you're gonna focus on that. This is my strong suit, we're gonna focus on that. It's just we went in and like, I'm here because I do the website stuff, like certain back-end stuff, like designing the stuff on the computer and stuff like that. That's just the thing that comes easy to me. My wife, on the other hand, laying out certain things, like with social media side of things, I dislike that sometimes. So she focused heavy on the social media side of things, like learning and understanding how to create the content. She loves the fulfillment side of things. So when orders come in and packing, and she's like super detailed, like nothing can go out like wrong, So we figured that out and say, all right, this is going to be like your role in a sense, and this is going to be my role. So that way we don't really argue, and it's not like I'm doing more than you and whatever. Everybody got like a role, and we just kind of stick to that. So that I would say to anybody, if you're going to work with your spouse or whoever, just try to figure out what the person is good at and assign them that task. You get what I'm saying? Versus you trying to do everything and they're watching, or vice versa.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that would be the best way to go at it for sure.
So this is 2023, right?
Yeah.
And when you first started, did you envision that you would make it this far as you've come?
Honestly, man, like I don't know, because when I started, like in the beginning, when I would start things, I used to go in like I'm a visionary. So I would like once I have the idea, I'm already looking 3-4 years down the line. I'm already seeing, the buildings. I'm seeing all these different things. I'm seeing the interviews. I'm seeing the celebrities. You get what I'm saying? I'm seeing everything. So when I start out and it doesn't go the way I have it in my mind, I'll get discouraged and I'll stop things. So it's good to, like, my wife, she knows that about me. So like she'll always say, hey, calm down, like just focus. We right here. You know what I'm saying? We right here. And whenever it doesn't go the way I think it's gonna go, the perfect example is with the second page I created, the Ecom with Yvad. After posting some content and I wasn't getting a bunch of followers, it's like, yo, I'm about to stop this. And she's like, hey, relax, just keep posting your stuff, and you'll see whatever you need to see in due time. So once I figured that out, like now I'm kind of surprised we made it this far in a sense because of that bad trait that I had, but now I'm like, I'm excited, man, because there's no stopping it. It's just like we've learned so much. It's like I have to see it all the way through. I just can't. Yeah, I can't stop.
So,
That
so
Yvad page, man, that page, it's a lot of great knowledge on that page, man. So
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. Like it's just most of the stuff that I've learned now, and like I'll see, things or about my day and something will pop in my head. Now I write everything down in my phone. I'll just like make videos out of it. And I'm trying to, like, when I make my videos, I sit down, I think about it so I can give as much value as short as possible. So I try to keep videos short as I can where I can, and just try to put it out, as best as I can.
So you drop a lot of videos on that channel, and I'll be on my news feed. I'll be having me feel like a stalker because it's like scrolling, and then like one video go by, then another one you like, and then I'm like, man, do I keep liking these videos?
Hey man, I appreciate all the engagement, because like it's gonna reach more people,
Yeah,
that's it. Because I'm just like I said, I'm just trying to share the stuff I know because we've lost money in the process. We bought a lot of things, like easily we spent probably outside of buying shirts and stuff, we probably spent an easy 500 to 1,000 on like little things that we probably never use. I bought like a bunch of boxes. I bought custom tape, all these different things that we never use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you go in, it's like now it's figure out the stuff that you're gonna use or you're gonna need. And that was my problem. I was thinking too far ahead and I bought all these things. Probably will use it eventually, but maybe we won't, but yeah, just try to keep it simple in the beginning and try to go as small and just kind of grow. If you really pay attention to most of the big brands out here, like the World Envisions and like the Spurgos and some of these brands, pay attention. Like World Envision started with like 10 or 12 shirts. Spurgo started with like $100 and something, and like a few other brands, like another brand was like $100 and something. So pay attention. Like they started small and they went to their little screen printers and they got 10 shirts made, and that's the little way they did it. But on social media you don't really see that. You just see the big warehouse with like 10-20,000 shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, but start small and just grow it.
Yeah, man.
So I gotta ask, have you been to any of the industry shows, like the magic shows, the impressions expos?
Not yet. Not like this coming year. We already I found one in New York. It's like a textile show. I forgot the name of it. Like the end of January up in New York or somewhere. It's like a bunch of manufacturers and people. You just learn about fabrics. So we're probably gonna take that trip up to New York and and just like learn from that. We were on a few weeks back. We went up to New York again for like a thing with Shopify. They just taught you how to take good pictures for your website. So just try to go out and get as much knowledge as you can. And like we're trying to just put ourselves out there in like the year to come. So definitely try to like get a lot of recognition the upcoming year for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yvad, can you please come up real close to the camera so I can get a good representation of that hoodie? Because I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Got some shoes
So, let
right
me
now. I'm
see.
looking at that matching to the T.
Yeah, let me see if I
Ronnie.
can. Oh shit, it's crooked. Hold on, I'm trying to.
It's
I'm trying to look
okay.
at myself and fix it at the same time. This is hard, man. Oh, there we go. There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
Wow.
that's what it says right there. So
Okay.
while you at it, shout out your socials, man. Where can they find you?
yeah, definitely on TikTok, on Instagram, just go and look for Barani Apparel, BYRANI Apparel, and you'll find us directly there. And our website is just barani.com. Very simple, just the brand's name.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. And again, I just appreciate y'all for having me on here. And I'm just trying to share as much information as I possibly can, man. That's it. I learned something a while back saying that if you're too afraid to share the information, it means you don't know enough. And I pride
That
myself
part.
on learning. You know what I'm saying? I pride myself on learning. So I'm literally, crazy thing, not to talk too long. I went to, like, in the end of last year, we were at like a pop-up selling shirts, selling hoodies, and at the mall, and people would come up, and literally while I'm there selling, or some people would be like, hey, how you get this for your clothing brand? I'm like, yo, take out your phone. This is where you go. This is this. And right then and there, because I always say to people, if you feel like you have to hold back information because somebody's gonna steal your customer, go into Walmart, walk down the water bottle aisle, and look at the amount of brands of water bottles are next to each other.
right.
We're all making money.
That part.
We're all making money. If you like cookies, check the cookie aisle. You get what I'm saying? But everybody is next to each other. They all making money. You feel me? So it's the same thing. Clothes, makeup, weave, whatever the thing is we're trying to sell out here, it doesn't hurt you to share with somebody else, man, because your customers are going to be your customers at the end of the day. That's it.
Yeah.
Powerful words. Powerful
man.
words, man. I just gotta do a quick recap. You traveled from Jamaica here. By the age of 19, you had a vision, I would like to say, that you stood up on and you ran with it. From there, you decided to do drop shipping. Drop shipping turned into your own brand, your own clothing brand, which propelled you into the future, all while being 27 years young.
Yeah,
That's
man.
young. At 27, I wish I had my brain together to be doing something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Man.
Real talk. Shout
it.
out to Seak, 12 Gone Apparel, because he introduced me to you. I had no idea. And I was
Appreciate it.
trying to figure out, I'm like, how am I going to say this man's name? So I am